And welcome to the Lakers Pulse podcast. I'm Clayton Fawcett, joined by Christian Merge.
Hi.
Well, I mean it's Merge Ian, but right. But I'm gonna. We always call you Merge. So
I was very
Hi, Merge.
confused because I am very confused. You say Christian Merge. I don't know. I haven't heard people call me Christian in a long time. But hi.
And Nelson, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Shout out to Colton's beard though. Colton's beard is the best beard I've ever seen in my life, or one of the best beards. So I want to give it a shout out.
Sorry, I'm typing in the live chat. If anyone has questions, go ahead and send them our way, and I'll be answering through the show. So recently, the Lakers, I would say they kind of pushed several people to resign from what it sounds like. Tim DeFresco, or whatever, however we say his name, said that it was his own doing, but from analytics being asked to be the head of a team, and a few other people. I think wasn't someone someone from the training staff and and someone from player development. They all were gone, or all gone. So what are your guys' reactions to that, Nelson?
Well, as long as obviously they had been feeling that they weren't getting the progress from their analytics department or their workout training staff and the whole thing. That's obviously very important for players. Obviously, you need a good foundation with good people providing good services to help the players improve. Their players, I'm sure they have their own workouts that they like to do when weightlifting and running is concerned, but it's the personal trainers for the team, or the team trainers that are involved in making sure that they do other specific workouts, and they go for them in case they need tips on eating and doing all of that kind of thing. And that's pretty necessary foundational stuff, especially when you're developing young players that are, one and done. They're really new to the NBA, and the Lakers don't have that many young players, really rookies coming in, but they do have some really young players, and I think that having a good workout staff, training staff, and all that kind of stuff would be really beneficial. So as long as at least a good change, I'm all for it. As long as they view that they can get someone else that is more of an upgrade than whoever they have right now.
Merch?
This wasn't really surprising when I heard it, because Pelinka during his exit interview, he talked a lot about nutrition and wanting the guys to be a lot more healthy, and their body fat percentage to be a lot lower. I know a lot of them had double-digit percentage body fats, in the 10s.
I think only 2 people on the entire team had below 10% body fat.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. That only two NBA players.
If I had to guess, it'd probably be T-Rob and Meta. That's just my guess.
I remember T-Rob and one. I can't remember who the other one was though.
Anyway, it's after hearing Pelinka talk about that a lot and saying, that he wants them to be a lot better and they're going to put programs in and stuff like that. This isn't a surprising move. In the analytics wise, I'm actually really happy that they're doing something like that, because the Lakers seem to be behind in the times when it comes to analytics, and the best teams in the NBA have the best analytics. It's proven. Teams like the Spurs have always been ahead of the curve when it comes to analytics, and you understand why they've been one of the best teams in the NBA for the past 20 plus years. Same with the Warriors, same with the Cavs. Most are pretty much
the Heat, even when they had the big 3, they had pretty. When you have LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, kind of do terribly much, but they had a heavy analytics department as well. With LA being the bottom of the barrel when it comes to analytics, something needed to change. So, oh crap! I had actually something about the Tim DeFrancesco. Anyways, he was more about adding weight. So like guys, everyone was so worried, like they need to gain on weight, they need to put weight on, and then like, well, they're carb loading and trying to hit the gym a lot. So with having to hit the gym like an NBA player, you're gonna have a huge, crazy high diet for carbs and calories and everything like that. So the body fat being so high wasn't a huge surprise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy that did not surprise me one bit was Zubats, how I always called him Fluffy.
Yep. Doughy.
And Doughy. He had a a body fat percentage of, I believe it was 17%.
Right.
So I mean, for a normal person, I mean that's okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay, which is crazy for a normal person. It's okay.
Yeah, but for an NBA player, I think last year, if I remember correctly, Gary Payton Jr. showed up to the combine with like a 4.5% body fat.
Jesus Christ.
So for comparison, right there.
Always gotta bring up Gary Payton Jr. We always have to. We always have to remember how much it hurts.
It hurts. It's crushing. I figured something like this was going to happen though. With you bring in a brand new front office, they're going to want to bring in their own guys.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts with that?
No, that's.
I mean, the hope is that that all the changes turn out well, and yeah, I think especially for Ingram, I'd probably want him to add some more strength, not necessarily muscle or tone or had more like body mass, just get stronger. Because I don't think that just loading up on weight. I think that just looking at someone's weight and then be like, oh, they're too skinny, like way too skinny. I mean, like you could tell by the way he plays that he just needs to get stronger. I mean, it's not necessarily like a mass thing because he's towering. So I mean, you don't need to be towering and wide. As long like that height advantage is gonna be enough as long as he has more strength. So
yeah.
All right. So the talk of Laker Nation, I guess, if you want to call it, the huge Laker fan base has been the trade talk of Paul George.
Yep.
I've heard several podcasts talk about it. We've discussed it in our Slack chat. I've said a few things on Twitter. Before I say anything, has to say first.
Huh?
What are you watching that's so distracting? I hate you.
Me? I'm not watching anything. I'm listening to you.
You didn't hear me at all? Did I freeze or something?
I like it was chopped up in your last sentence.
I heard the question.
You heard the question? Okay, Nelson, you go then.
Well, yeah. So I didn't listen to the podcast, but I heard what you guys had to say about it, and my stance is I would like to keep the young players and develop them, and I don't think Paul George is a player that you saw the farm for, and I don't think that player exists. Not necessarily. I think you could make a case that LeBron or Kevin Durant, you could potentially do that, and you would be fine with it, to live with it. But I just think that in an era where there's two huge colossal teams of the Cavs and the Warriors, they just wait it out. There's no rush to go to the playoffs. There is literally no incentive for going to the playoffs anytime soon because you will not beat the Warriors. You will not beat Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Clay, and Draymond. The hope is that you've built enough and you have enough potential to where once your players are finally at their climax of their potential, that the Warriors have either lost some players, just aged to the point where they're not where they are right now, which is going to happen. You hope that LeBron has like a fall off year and he starts to decline, which is going to come sooner or later. So you wait until that point and then you strike when the iron is hot, pretty much. So there's a couple teams doing that. The Sixers, especially if they get the Lakers pick and they get a few assets, it looks like they're sort of doing the same thing. They're sort of like building for the future and waiting for once. LeBron's not the kind of player he is right now, where he's pretty much guaranteeing you a finals run at this point. So you hope that
7 years in a row.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's pretty much you have LeBron, you go into the finals. That's pretty much how it's been for the past 7 years. So yeah, I mean, I think that teams just wait, especially if you're. I mean, if you're not going to be one of the best, then you should probably just hold, just keep floating along, developing your young core, and then finally once it's time, then you can keep the players that you have. You hope that they're superstars, that they develop the way that you want them to develop, and then you make a run. Or you can then trade them if they haven't really panned out that much. Then you can trade them for some more assets or do movements like that to where you're not trying to beat a Goliath, because at this point, if you get Paul George, you'll pretty much be David, and you're not going to be the Goliath. So that's pretty much how I feel about it. It might be me, being attached to these young players, since I do follow the draft quite a bit. But yeah, I just don't see an incentive asset management wise, especially of trading for Paul George, especially since he's a really good player, and I'm sure that the Pacers are going to want a good price. And when you trade for a superstar, usually the team that has the assets loses, because they have to give up more than they probably should, because Celtics are going to drive a hard bargain, and other teams are going to, and other teams like Denver could potentially drive a hard bargain. So
I agree. Nelson, or sorry, Merge. My bad. It's late. It's yeah.
Yeah, all people these days.
So, first off, I want to say I do want Paul George, but
shocker.
I don't want it to come at the cost of trading D'Angelo, Ingram, or potentially the only one I wouldn't trade for, honestly, would be Markelle Fultz. If we could get him for like the third and like Randall or something like that, then I would do it. And I actually don't see Randall actually being traded in a Paul George deal, especially with his agent and D'Angelo's agent and Paul George's agent being the same agent. But I don't think Paul George is going to come into LA and make us better than a team like the Grizzlies, or better than a team like the Thunder. I think it would make us like a 9 seed, 8 seed at best, if we just get Paul George and we have D'Angelo, Ingram, Randall around him, right? Mm-hmm. Potentially, it could be a really good team if Paul George doesn't decline after like 31 or 32, whatever, which I don't see him declining that much, because his game doesn't rely a lot on his athleticism. It's more on his shot making ability. But if it comes at a cost of trading the number 1 pick, or trading D'Angelo, or trading Brandon Ingram, then I just walk away and just hope he ends up a free agent. Really, if he doesn't come to the Lakers, then he doesn't come to the Lakers. But I think the thinking in the front office is they need to not be a contender right now, but they need to be at least decent right now. And I don't know how willing they are to trade the young guys. I actually don't think they're that willing to trade the guys. And if they do trade them, it'll only be one of the 3 if we keep the pick. But I just would rather not be a top 4 team in the West or in the NBA right now, because no player is gonna beat 3 of the potential like top 25 players of all time in Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. You just won't do it. I feel like we're gonna have Warriors versus Cavs part 7 or whatever. Like, it's gonna just go. It's gonna keep going until LeBron gives out, or they let like Clay or Draymond walk or something. I don't know. But even if they let one of those guys walk, like a team of Steph Curry and Kevin Durant is still probably gonna make you a finals team. It's I don't know. A lot of people just think that it just needs to happen. If they don't, then the Lakers are just going to be bad for a long time. I'm fine with that. Not a long time, but I don't want them to be okay and not have something to fall back on if Paul George doesn't work out. If we trade for Paul George and we give up D'Angelo and like Randall and like our 28th pick and Zubac or something, or Clarkson or whatever, and Paul George doesn't work out, I don't think what is Just Ingram gonna do by himself? Nothing. He needs something around him. I want like I said, I'm not against trading for Paul George, but it has to be at the right price. It has to be.
I 100% agree. My problem with when people talk about a Paul George trade is they forget a couple things that are still present, and that is the contracts of Mozgov and Deng.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't have those two guys on the books, you didn't have that $34 million on the books, then this conversation, I think, is a little different. You still don't have a ton of assets, even though some people think that there's already too many young people on the team. But if you trade for Paul George, that increases the timeline. So, and if you're that desperate for Paul George, that means you're likely going to overpay. You do not want to have a Knicks situation. I've said this, I think, on 2 podcasts already. You do not want to become the New York Knicks when they traded for Melo.
Mm-hmm.
All indications were Melo wanted to go to New York. They were freaking stupid. And then they gave up. At the time, it was just, I think, 5 or 6 prospects or picks and stuff. It was just a stupid trade. Had Danilo Gallinari. They had Timothy Mozgov when he was pretty good as a younger player. Like
Ray Felton.
Just was not a smart move. And if the Lakers do that, say they trade D'Angelo, they trade Randall, and then they're stupid enough to include like the third pick as well if the Lakers keep it.
Yeah.
What does that get you? It gets you Paul George. Wonderful. You possibly have another. You might have another max contract somehow, but then you still have $34 million in the books.
And you still have to wait for
like wait for the young guys to develop.
Yeah.
So I'm much more in favor of waiting until free agency. I've come up with a cockamamie trade that I would do. That I would do in order to get him, but that's not something, that's like a ridiculous take, and I don't think anyone would actually do it. But I mean, the max I would give up for him now, right? It would have to be like a 2-for-1 of Clarkson and Randall. I think that's the max I'm giving up. Like Paul, like everyone's like, but this is Paul George. Like, I don't have Paul George in my top 10 of NBA players. I don't have him in my top 12. I might not have him in my top 15.
Yeah.
He's not going to get an all NBA. He's not going to be on one of the all NBA teams this year. That means he's behind 6 other forwards.
Yep.
Then that's not including point guards and centers that are better than him, or guys listed as centers, because I think Draymond will count as a center, I believe I heard. And there's questions about if Anthony Davis will be. Like, so you got a top 15 player, or maybe then you got Jeannie, her all-star that she wants for LA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does next year you say they were like, oh man, we really need him, and they gave up D'Angelo and the pick and everything?
Jesus Christ!
Does that doesn't become like a 8th seed? If it's like what, Randall or Nance, it would be like Paul George, Nance,
Ingram,
Clarkson. going anywhere.
Mozgov, dang.
Yeah, you still have Mozgov and Deng. You might have Tarek Black.
Thomas Robinson.
But I mean, the team is going to be full of it's still a couple young guys, one really high ceiling young guy, and then Paul George and nothing.
So it's pretty much the Pacers this year, but worse. It's Miles Turner and Paul George with Monte Ellis, Jeff Teague. I mean,
it. And then people are like, well, then you can just stretch Deng and Mozgov after next year. It's like if you don't get him in a trade, you can go after him in free agency. I'm all on board for getting him in free agency. Like, I'm not saying don't get, but it's not going to be a good team with them. You still have those two guys. If you want to stretch them, you're going to be paying them a combined, I think, 13 to 14 million for 5 years. That's a lot of money still left on your cap. You're not going to be able to do anything with that. You can't trade those stretch contracts. You can't do anything with that. That's just straight up dead money. So, I mean, maybe you can add a player that's about to make $20 to $25 million, but what does that do? Honestly, what does it do?
I think
you're going to be punching bag for the Golden State Warriors, and then, like, I mean, I think it's less likely that it would be a Dwight Howard situation where Paul George left, but he left a team that he didn't want to be on for a team that, sure, he wants to be on, but is bad still.
Yeah.
You dealt assets, so now you're just kind of stuck. Like, I don't know. I just don't see, unless like you're going to get like this crazy deal of Nance or Randall and Clarkson and like, then yeah, 28, like, then yeah, you do that. But some of the trades I've seen are just like, no, I'm not giving up 2 of the big 3 assets. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving up 1 of the big 3 assets unless like
3
something major happens on from Indiana's perspective,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then everyone wants to. Well, we'll trade D'Angelo because if we keep the pick, then it's going to be Lonzo. Lonzo's not he's like every other young player. He's not going to be good for a while.
I think he's going to be one of those guys that starts off slow too. Even if he becomes good, he'll be bad his first year and a half.
And I 1,000% believe that he's a 2. I know everyone is just like, he's a 4 general. Like, his best attributes are those of a 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I get the thing of like, well, stop hoarding assets. I totally get that. If you can make a move, you should do it. But the problem is, you're not in a position to compete after getting Paul George because you just don't have the following assets. And then you're still stuck with Mozgov and Deng. Again, it just keeps coming back to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like saying, it's like people think that we're in the similar situation that the Celtics are in, but the Celtics have future highly valuable picks that are going to come in the future, and they have some right now, and they still have younger assets who are not even playing as much time because they have enough quality veteran players that they can play instead, that they should be playing instead of the other ones. And I mean, they have a star/superstar in Isaiah Thomas, and I mean, like, he's really good, but he only takes you so far, and so the Celtics are stuck in a pickle, and I just think that they're good enough now to where trading for Paul George, no one blinks twice because they're not rebuilding. Like, if you take away the assets of the Lakers, you have a terrible team. if you take away the assets of the Celtics, you have still a playoff team, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I mean, like,
they could have given up. What was it? It was Terry Rozier and one other guy for Serge Ibaka. Deny that. I mean, I still think that like they should have done that, but
I still laugh at that.
Terry goes,
but they have a ton of assets. It is not the Lakers, man. Like he still looks just like a third big off the bench. Like he's going to be your equivalent of a 6-man in a 4-5.
Yeah.
No one knows what Randall is. Clarkson on a good team is probably a 7th man. I think he's a starter. I can't see that anymore. And people that are still comparing him to Westbrook, oh my word, just stop it. Just stop it. It's Westbrook at the point was already an all-star and all-NBA player. Like, stop it. Yeah. D'Angelo, his stock is still down. We don't even know if we have the pick. Mm-hmm. People are all hyped up on Ivica Zubac, but he might just be the next Inez Kanter. All offense, no defense. And getting a few blocks doesn't mean anything because
Brook Lopez is first all-time in Nets history in blocks.
Yeah, because I mean he's good when you're right up next to him. He can't defend on the perimeter at all. That might just be another guy off the bench. Which you can cash in on some of those guys, but yeah, it just it's just really annoying. Like when people are like, "Well, then we'll have assets to deal afterwards." Like, if you get Paul George, who are you gonna get? Like
obviously Blake Griffin.
Yeah, you're gonna sign Blake Griffin, okay, and then it's gonna be a team of Blake Griffin, Paul George, Daniel Moscow.
Ooh.
That's intriguing. That's really intriguing.
Well, then,
could trade for Paul or Jimmy Butler. No, they can't. Don't have the amount of assets to do it.
I mean, don't the Bulls want like Ingram and D'Angelo, or like D'Angelo and the pick or something like that? Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, well, the rumor from that guy that was a former WWE general manager. Don't believe that, but there were legit rumors that the Bulls wanted the Nets pick, possibly both Nets pick, mm-hmm. Then also like a guy like Jaylen Brown and Jay Crowder. So that's 4 highly valuable assets.
Those are 4.
For Paul, if you're dealing for Paul George, then you've nothing. You've got nothing. So then you just say you could see him leaving and then just be like, well, traded for me. I apparently apparently put a leak there. Someone put a leak out there that don't trade the young guys. I mean,
he's like, I told you what to do.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. Just I'm not saying that we don't want to be good, but I don't want. Yeah, no, actually, F that. I don't want to be good. I want to be great.
Right.
Call Lakers exceptionalism. I'm always the first one to say that type of stuff. Like, good. I want to be contending for titles and getting Paul George and then not having much else afterwards. That's not going to cut it. You're not getting anywhere with that.
Yeah, I mean, really,
didn't get anywhere in the freaking East. Yeah. he can't get anywhere in the East. Yeah, he went blow for blow with the Cavs. Whoop-de-doo. Like, the Warriors have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Like, okay, like it doesn't get you anything. So it gets you a marketable name. Draw. Yeah. I mean, if you could, like I said, if you could get them for a steal of a deal, then yeah, you do it. But I just, D'Lo or Ingram or the pick. Like, if the pick's coming back, like if a year asset that you're going to have for 7 years guaranteed, unless of course the person gets injured, but you're not counting on that. But another thing that people are refusing to acknowledge is Monte Ellis is likely to be attached to something like that.
Yeah, you don't want Monte Ellis.
So then you're going to have to give up guys just to get rid of salary, and then you're taking on him, and then
another salary dump.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Then you become the Pacers West, and Pacers West doesn't get you in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it gets you a name. That's all it does. There, really quietly. Do you have anything to say to that?
Well, I mean, you guys pretty much echoing my same viewpoint, so I don't want to speak that much on it. But I mean, yeah, I just don't find any value of hinging your whole future on Paul George, who is a good player. I love him. I love his sneaker too. I think his sneaker is one of the best out right now. Just throwing out a clearly irrelevant point. But yeah, I really like Paul George, and I would really want him to sign here willingly and commit to the team, commit to the future that we're building. But trading for him just it's just too risky at this point. And if they do it, well, I mean, we're gonna have to live with him. It's something that we can do at that point. And I'm sure they want to trade for him. I just the hope is that they're not willing to give up the core future stars that the Lakers potentially have. But the pick is not a huge thing if it's not number one for me. I think that's killable. I don't think that's hurtful. I just think I would be fine trading the pick at that point, because I feel like if it's not one, it's likely
if it's not Fultz.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, if it's not full.
I know a lot of people love Lonzo. I know it, but
we'll talk about it.
I would trade Lonzo in a heartbeat. Like I'm not a.
You're gonna get some dislikes, some more dislikes.
I know.
Clayton's not a believer. He's not a fan, but
we're probably just got a couple thumbs down on the YouTube. So
yeah.
No, I mean, what can I say?
Thanks a lot, Clayton. You serve us for nothing.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not, because it just. Yeah.
No, I mean, there's certainly concerns that you worry about with Lonzo, and that I think I'd be willing to trade that, and even Josh Jackson. I mean, like, he's just not on that tier of Fultz, and he's definitely not untradeable for me. So until I see him play an NBA game, I think that he's certainly that I would be fine trading Josh Jackson and like Randall for Paul George. I don't think that'd be as big of a hit.
No, it's really just keeping D'Angelo.
Yeah, I mean,
for me,
I think that's probably would be one of my best. That's probably my best realistic scenarios would be like just lose those two assets, which would still be a major blow, right? Because Josh Jackson has tons of potential, and Randall still has a ceiling that if paired with the right pieces, that he could be really, really good.
I actually like him and Miles Turner potentially a lot.
Yeah,
that is a very intriguing front court right there, or 4 or 5 combo right there. Yeah, we have a question real quick. I'm a big D'Lo fan. This is from Cali Kid 3. But let's assume the Lakers keep the pick and sign PG in free agency next season. We can't fit all the young guys in a lineup, so doesn't D'Lo seem like the odd man out? No, it doesn't, because
hold on. If it's Markelle Fultz, it would hurt, but I'm fine with trading D'Angelo. If it's only if we have Markelle Fultz,
no,
that's the only thing that I'm taking exception for.
No.
Well, hold on. The odd man out, it would definitely be Randall, but
I mean, yeah, it'd be Randall. It'd be Randall or some type of someone that plays the 5, like the 5 of the center. Because you can line up. You could have a lineup of if you keep the pick of, say, Fultz, Ball, or Jackson. Any of those guys can play the 1-2. Well, Fultz is more of a 1 in my opinion. Jackson, I think, can play a 2.
Probably.
3. He's more of a 3-4, but he's athletic enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Tiller. If you don't like Lonzo Ball, you're not a big baller.
That's great. If you can't afford these shoes, you're not a big baller. Shout out to LeVar Ball, man.
if I had to afford those shoes to be a big baller, then I don't want to be a big baller. I don't want some fake ass Kobe's. If you keep the pick, I mean, Fultz would be a 1, D'Angelo a 2. I think Lonzo's a 2. I think Justin Jackson could play a 2-3.
Josh Jackson.
Oh my word! Did I just say Justin Jackson?
Yeah, but we never talking about Maryland. We never talking.
Yeah. There you go. I'm not talking about that guy from North Carolina. I think Jackson could at least play the 2. I mean, it really wouldn't matter because 2-3-4 would be insane with switching it.
Yeah.
So it really would not matter that much, in my opinion, because those guys would be so interchangeable. And just want to play the 4, you can play him at the 2-3 if you have Jackson. I mean, like Ingram's eventual position is likely going to be 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 4. So there's this idea, and I'm not saying that he's wrong in thinking it, but in my opinion, like it's a non-issue because all those guys are ball handlers. They're able to switch. They're long. That's a lineup that you want. You don't want to trade anyone for that.
Right.
And if I'm unless it's Fultz, like I'm okay with trading anyone from that.
Right.
Sports Buzz says I rather draft Tatum than Jackson. Not for the Lakers.
I don't like the fit for the Lakers. I can see like
he's a true 3-4.
In a prospect sense, I can see maybe taking Tatum over Jackson, but I just think for the Lakers, Jackson brings that athleticism and defense that the Lakers need the most.
Sam Vecini has Tatum at 2 and Jackson at 3 and Ball at 4.
Yeah.
I can see the appeal of Tatum. The problem is I think he's a true 3-4.
And he's kind of a ball stopper a little bit. I mean, not much.
He can be. Vecini he kind of put that to rest at the end of the year. Tatum was a lot better at distributing the ball.
Yeah.
I think it would be fine, but like,
I still
mean, like you would have to play like you'd have to play Ingram or PG at the 2, and yeah, I don't know. I think that's more of a funky fit. He's not an elite athlete. He's not, at least not up to the level of Jackson. Jackson is a lot more athletic than Tatum.
Yeah.
Tatum is way more skilled. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean,
yes.
I would put Isaac over all 3 of those names.
Speaking of Isaac, we've got from 6-side-7. What if Lakers take Jonathan Isaac? Imagine him and Ingram. Scary for the teams. Nelson has. A few months ago, I had Isaac at number 2, and I have him at 3 right now.
Yeah, me too.
I would love Isaac. I have kind of like a dream scenario if you don't go after PG of getting 2 and 3 and then trading, or 2 or 3 and then trading back with Sacramento and getting 8 and 10 and then hoping that Isaac is there at 8 because he's been there in a lot of mocks.
I still think Timberwolves will pass up on him, but yeah.
I mean, I didn't think that. Who really thought that Chris Dunn was a fit?
Yeah, but I mean,
it's Tom Thibodeau. I think he's proven to not be the smartest guy when it comes to prospects.
Nah, shout out to Zach LaVine's ACL.
I love how he continued to play him on a torn ACL.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
Now,
hold on. There was not enough Isaac talk in this period. All right.
Okay. You go ahead.
So look,
we're going the draft step right now.
So Isaac has potential to play the 3, the 4, and possibly even the 5, which is honestly insane, and I am all for it. Not immediately, in my opinion, but I
he couldn't play there full time.
No, it would be like half of what Draymond plays at the 5.
Yeah, but once he does,
if no one knows where this is coming from, I I tweeted it out today. I was speaking more about OG Anunoby, but Jonathan Sharks of the Ringer posted a article about Jonathan Isaac and OG Anunoby about possibly playing the 5, and we all love the idea.
Yes.
Could you? I mean, like,
awesome.
Seriously, and that would and with that Sacramento idea of getting like Isaac at 8 and OG at 10. Holy crap! All the switching,
Just
oh my
and
God.
just beautiful.
Yeah, just play,
holy crap! I just had the idea in my head of Paul George, Brandon Ingram, OG, and Jonathan Isaac on the court together switching.
What if we just potentially, what if we don't even get PG and we just keep all our assets and we trade back and we get OG and then we get Luke Kennard at 28. So we run Russell, Luke Kennard, and then we run Ingram, OG, and Isaac for all the fun. That lineup is all the fun.
All the 3-point shooting and
all the space. That lineup is the definition of the modern NBA.
No one over the age of like 20.
That team would be the next Warriors.
That would be the most fun team to watch in the NBA.
That'd be the best lineup in the world. Like, honestly, that is Nelson's lineup. Like, if you ever dream about or think about what Nelson likes, it's just all there, right there. There's some wingspan for Clayton, and there's some skillfulness, there's some size, there's some shooting, there's some white guys, some others, all the races, just everything, everything.
There's a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different spices just mixed up to create this beautiful.
There's no look passes. There's ice in veins, and
there's steals, blocks, good defense, good fundamentals.
Good times, man.
Yeah, and then of course there's Isaac's hair. That can't be run over.
I think my Alonzo Ball comment finally got up and people saw and they disliked it. Oh, sad.
Yes,
sad.
Yes. Dislike people, so you get clean off the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, sure, Clayton.
You guys, like, you went full tank, all the tanks right there.
You went full trust the process right there.
Yeah, I just called Hinkie up, and I was like, my boy, I know what you want. And then I told him this exact thing.
You went full Hinkie.
I went full Hinkie. Like, if Hinkie were to hear this, he might have an orgasm. I think that probably is the likely outcome.
Man.
All right. Do you guys want to talk 3? I think that's been talked about so much. We've even talked about it right now. Excuse me. So let's talk about 28.
Yeah.
The Lakers do have a first-round draft pick unless they used it to dump or acquire someone.
Yeah.
Who are a few guys that you're really interested in? I think we've already done this kind of once, but now the combine is set.
It was kind of half-baked at the time.
Yeah. The combine has its list and it's official now. Merge. Give me 3 guys again.
Okay.
And 3 guys who you would hate.
Okay, 3 guys. I'll start with hate. I'll start with that. First guy, probably maybe the most, would be Bam Adebayo.
Stole my guy.
Yeah, I know I did. So you can hop in on this one. I don't know. He's kind of a big name in the draft because he was a high recruitment, top 5, right? He was top 5 recruitment guy.
Yeah.
He was around 10 for a long time.
He was a top 10 like draft projected guy for a while, and he just does absolutely nothing for me. I mean, I like guys who do like the screen and roll, alley-oop, dunk, stuff like that, but I don't know what it is with Bam. He just isn't overly like he's like Dwight height, right? He's 6'9", 6'10". I'm blanking.
Yeah, I think he's listed at 6'10". I'll pull it up.
He's not. He doesn't have the length of Dwight at all. Not even close. He has average length.
A lot of people think that he's insanely long. for some reason, I mean, I've seen a lot of smart people say that he's got a lot of length. His wingspan is about 7'1.5".
It's not like a Tony Bradley type of wingspan or a
or
EK type of
an
wingspan.
EK, or I mean, he's 6'10" with a 7'1.5" wingspan. I mean, I can see if Draft Express has a standing reach. It's at 9 feet, so he's undersized. So what you just did is you got a
Tark Black,
a cheaper, maybe a better Tark Black, because Tark was really good on defense,
and he's
after the All-Star game. I mean, really, he was good even before.
Oh yeah, he was like what, top like 10, and
yeah, in a lot of like pick and roll defense and stuff like that. So
he was. Yeah, I'm just confused.
I mean, I'd much rather like, and Tark is, you know, he's like 6'7". He's not very tall, but he's got a wingspan of like 7'3".
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like this idea that he's really long.
He's average.
He's not even average though. He's below average.
I mean, what's the average
for a 5? An average for a 5 is like, it's like 7'2" or 7'3".
That's true.
For a 5. So you got a guy, essentially, if he was a 4 and like was actually skilled, because I don't think he's going to be able to shoot. I know.
I mean,
people think he can. I don't want to sound like I'm being mean to anyone, because I'm not the only one that has opinions on this stuff, but I see him as like a egg again. Like you're getting.
I just think there's a lot better value
Tark
there.
Yeah, like I would much rather go for the home run than go for someone that I can fill in that's already on the roster that already know.
Magic has talked a lot about having a lot of players who do the same thing on the roster. I don't see him doing that and getting game Bam. So
I mean, I am intrigued by his ability to switch onto guards, which was pretty impressive, honestly, for his big.
Yeah, his feet and ability to defend on the perimeter is a lot better than said a few weeks ago. But I mean, I just can roll big. That I don't think he's going to offer a ton of rim protection.
Right.
I mean, he'll be better. On the perimeter than I had originally said, but I hate that. I hate that pick.
Yeah.
Like, I want to take Bam before 35. Like, I just don't like it.
I wouldn't mind him in the first round if you think he can improve his skills, and if you think he's a better rim protector than we think he's going to be. But I certainly see Clayton's viewpoint. I think I don't know if I'm that low on him yet. I'll probably go back and watch some more film than what I've watched. But yeah, it was painful to watch him for a good stretch of the game, just because mostly what he did was rebound, and not even that. And he'd sometimes get outboxed out by guards sometimes, and it was just like, what are you doing? Like, you're just not even doing anything. And of course, he's
a really good offensive rebounder.
Yeah.
Like, potentially elite offensive rebounder.
I swear, we're just describing Tark. I swear that's what we're doing.
Yeah. He got 3.1 offensive rebounds a game, but only 4.9 defensive rebounds a game. So a total of 30 minutes. I mean,
8 boards.
Julius does that rolling out of bed, literally.
Yeah.
So he's not. I don't see the skill. I don't think the shot has awful mechanics or anything, I guess, but it just I mean, and I can be 1,000% wrong. He could be like, I don't know, develop a 30%, 32% 3-point shot, and then become apparently Draymond on defense. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, but I just
Yeah.
he was not pleasant to watch this year for me, and I'm a huge fan of the guy that you're like if he had like a taller and had a wingspan of 7'3.5" or 7'4", which I mean I'm describing Tony Bradley right now. This then this is a different conversation, and then I'm like, holy crap, yeah, but he's got a nice vert and everything, but just the standing reach. That's one thing. Like he has a shorter standing reach than Brandon Ingram.
Oh man. I mean,
so
Brandon,
yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
if he's
Brandon might be taller than
another, yeah. Another thing, Jonathan Sharp posted in that article about Jonathan Isaac and OG Anunoby. Bam Adebayo was pushed around before the college season in the McDonald's All-Star game against Azubuike from OG was not. Like a guy that's 250 pounds should not be shoved around at all. And
you watch the tape and you certainly see that from what I saw. And yeah, I mean, like I guess I see the appeal. He had a pretty good tournament. Was played better than he did in the regular in the final half of the regular season. But
I don't really care about how a guy plays.
Oh no, I'm not trying to
I'm
not trying to highlight that.
No. I know. He's 250 and he looks like he's insanely built. OG is 215 and was going against Azubuike and was barely moved.
Right.
So like you can weigh a lot. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to outmuscle anyone. When he brought that up, and he said, I think he said in the article it was mainly during the practices and stuff, to get access to that and see how that was, because seeing a guy 250 being shoved around just would be hilarious to me.
Yeah. Okay, so the second guy that I would not want would be Caleb Swanigan from Purdue. Offensively, I can see the stretchability. He was a pretty good three-point shooter. He was a pretty good, mid-range shooter. But the reason I don't want him is because he's such a negative defensively. He's really, really bad on the defensive end. I mean, you would think a guy who's 7'3.5" wingspan and who weighs like 250 would be a little better in the post and a little better as a shot blocker. But he just isn't quick. He doesn't have the best foot speed. He wouldn't really be able to switch on the guards, and that's what you need a lot in today's NBA. You guys have anything to say about him? Or pretty much same thing that I said.
Yeah. just like his ability to just somewhat stretch the floor, just not really high on the defense, and that's worrisome. Even though these differences isn't going to matter much for a backup big, I'd probably like a good amount of other players over him.
Yeah.
Express has Caleb Swanigan at number 30. I just bashed Bam Adebayo, and I would take Bam Adebayo above Caleb Swanigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that I would take before Caleb Swanigan. Like a lot. There's a lot of guys. I mean, I'd much rather just play a 4 at the 5 than draft Caleb Swanigan.
I'd rather have like Larry or Julius there playing the 5.
Yeah. Real quick, Six Side Seb again. I don't know if you saw the tweet, but yesterday Porzingis tweeted Clippers.
Oh yeah.
He said that he was hacked. I don't know.
You need to go to Rob Perez's Twitter and how he debunked.
I heard that. I need to see that, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I don't.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, he's not. Porzingis isn't unless he signs a qualifying offer. He's stuck in New York.
Sadly.
And then, of course, staff writer Mohammed Haroon, we call him Moho. If Isaac ends up on the Sixers, will Nelson switch to being a Philly fan since Simmons and Isaac will be there?
I think I'd heavily consider it. I lose some sleep over it. You guys think I'm joking, but these are two of my favorite prospects from both respective drafts. I mean, like Simmons was my guy last year, and then Isaac's my guy this year. I mean, like it's gonna be
Nelson's about to just start giving us Okafor for Russell trade projections now.
Yeah, like if they get Michael Porter next year, I mean, like I'm bouncing. It's like I'm bouncing.
Now you're.
I'm out. Deuces.
I don't really have.
Could you imagine that lineup of like?
Oh my God.
Ben Simmons, Robert Covington, Michael Porter Jr., Jonathan Isaac, and Joel Embiid. You'd have one guy underneath 6'10". Everyone else is taller than that, and even Covington is 6'9".
Oh, okay.
Like Simmons would literally be ending up playing the legitimate point guard position. He'd be guarding point guards.
He would be the point guard.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I think how I'd like that if he was guarding point guards.
Hey.
Covington is an insanely underrated defender. He's
on him.
A top 10 defender in my opinion. He's very good, very very good.
He needs to be on a contender. That guy's really good right now. I don't really have a third player that I wouldn't want. It was really just Bam and Caleb. So I'll go to players that I do want.
Well, real quick. Okay, so what about like Semi Ojeleye?
I'm not completely against him, but I would want a lot of people over him.
So
yeah, that'd be kind of like a meh pick too.
Yeah,
I'd
be like, okay.
TJ Leaf or Tyler Lydon?
I would not want Lydon. I think he's in a weird position. I mean, I don't like the TJ Leaf, but again, I wouldn't be like pissed off if we get him. Like a Bam or a Caleb Flanagan, but it'd be a waste of a pick.
I would, yeah, it would be so dumb. No, go to guys who you do want.
So I'm gonna go with one guy here. I'm gonna go with DJ Wilson from Michigan. That's a guy that I've started to really really like over the past few weeks. He is a 21-year-old sophomore from Michigan who is did he redshirt his freshman year, Nelson?
I think he did. Yeah.
So he is a 4 who I think he plays some small ball 5 as well, and 6'10" with a reported I think it was like a 7'3", 7'4" wingspan. He averaged about a block and a half from with Michigan and shot about 37% from the 3-point line with about 3 attempts per game. He just seems like a very good prototypical 3-and-D guy, and he seems to be pretty athletic for for a 4 like that. It seems like a guy who can keep up with on switches and not get completely toasted on them. I mean, that's really all you need when you're switching, just someone to hang, right? If he can play the 4-5 and you can run him at the 5 with small ball lineups, with the stretch ability and the potential ability to protect the rim a little bit. The one thing he does seem to have a little problem with is rebounding. He only averaged 5 boards per game, about 30 minutes a game, so that might be a little worrisome. But if you stick him next to someone like Randall, that might not be that much of a problem because Randall's a beast of a rebounder. Yeah, he's a guy that when he declared, he just like caught my eye with the potential stretch big who can switch. That he could be that type of guy for the Lakers. Not really a starter. He would probably be a 6-man type guy. But I mean, would you guys want someone like him over like Larry Nance Jr.? I would pretty highly over him.
Yeah.
I mean, like he'll shoot, but I think Nance is a better defender. But knock that so many of us have had on Nance is that he won't shoot.
Right.
So, I mean, like it's kind of a wash on on it because Nance, I think, is quite a bit better on D, and Wilson will actually freaking shoot the ball. You know, that was one guy? Give me two more.
That was one. Next guy would probably be I don't know if I want to say him now with what you said before the podcast, but I'll do it anyway. Diallo, Hamadou Diallo, from Kentucky, I guess. I guess that's what it would say. He didn't play at all for Kentucky this year. He was a weird, like a second semester enrollment guy. But me and Clayton have been on him for a good, like 5 months now.
Man, it was back in November.
Yeah, Sam is
like the very end of November, and giggity.
me and Clayton watched a bunch of the mixtapes, and
oh my word! Don't ever fall down that rabbit hole of a mixtape because holy crap, it's just
the Nick Young shot form.
Oh man, yes, it's the shot form is insane. It's so Nick Young, and then he has like the leg cock that Steph Curry does. So like the upper body is totally Nick Young, but then because he does like this weird knee bend, does it's just the shot is actually a big question. But oh my word, it's I don't think there's anything mechanically wrong. I mean, I don't have access to high school tape other than just mixtapes. So from what I saw, like the form doesn't look bad, but
he has
he's a
yeah.
You go. I'm sorry. I don't want to overtake your thing again.
He's an insane athlete. I mean, I don't know who to really compare him to, but like the athleticism is insane. Like jump out the gym, he's doing 360 dunks in game. The crazy ass windmill dunks and stuff. Do
you remember what Vicini said about the athleticism for his dunk?
I don't. What was it?
He said he glided through the air like Zach LaVine, but when he dunked it, it exploded like LeBron James.
Oh my god!
Obviously, those are big names that you don't want to compare anyone to. You don't want to do that.
In the dunking world, yeah, you don't want
the dunking world. Oh my word! It's just it's just he jumped so gracefully, but then like when he finally. Like after his hang time is finally slams it. Oh my word! It's insane. It's a thing of beauty.
And from what people like Cole Zwicker have said, and he has him pretty high too, like 21 on his board. He said that he has that high defensive potential. He's long. He has the IQ for it, and then he as he likes to call him, he's a 2-level scorer. And I think that'd be. I'm guessing like attacking the rim and 3-point shooting. I'm not really sure how good his mid-range stuff is, but I mean, with a guy in the late first, I mean, if he can dunk and make 3-pointers and play defense, that's just a perfect guy. But from what we said before the podcast, he might be rising up draft boards just from his potential alone. Even though he didn't play one game at Kentucky, just the potential of a super athletic and long wing who can potentially be a 3-and-D and a guy you can throw lobs to. I mean, that's super coveted in today's NBA.
So from 21 to 36, okay, on the number 20 is when they have Donovan Mitchell going on Draft Express, and at 36 is where they have Hamidou Diallo.
Yeah.
In that 15-pick stretch, there is point guard Joanna Evans.
Yep.
There is one maybe small forward in Tyler Lydon. I think he's a 4.
Uh-huh.
Small forward in Rodions Kirkic.
Yeah.
You have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to count Lydon as a forward.
Big,
4, 5, 6, 7, because I think Ogilie is a power forward as well. So I'm out at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 guys in between that are 4 or 5s.
Yeah, that I can
so
see
there's
jumping for sure.
there's gonna be a lot of guys that jump, in my opinion. A guy that's rising up draft boards right now is Derek White from Colorado.
I really like him too. I was actually gonna say him next, honestly. But
I
did
Devin Robinson is a 3-4 who's pretty dang athletic and has the potential to be a really good 3-and-D guy. I could see him going up.
Harden jumping.
Josh Hart and Wesley Owundo are both analytics like draft pick loves right there. I could go seeing those guys go higher. There's not going to be a 15 pick stretch where there's only 2 guys in between that are
guards or wings.
Yeah. So
sadly, no.
So Diallo, I think he's going to go higher than a couple of those guys just because of he's just a freak athlete, and he's not even 19 yet.
Yeah, he turned 19 in a couple months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll maybe talk a little bit more about him when I talk. But your last guy was going to be Derek White, right? Or was it going to be someone else?
With Derek White, I was thinking about him. But I think the guy that I like more than probably you is Juwan Evans. And I know you don't like drafting backup point guards. I don't know what it is with Juwan Evans. I just really like him. I know these are really big comparisons, but I've heard some Kyle Lowry and Chris Paul comparisons. And I know those are huge comparisons because those are 2 all-stars. And Chris Paul being a top 5 point guard of all time. But I mean, from everything I've seen, he's just a very solid player all around. And his biggest problems are like turnovers. You know, he's a young point guard. I understand
his usage rate at Oklahoma State was insane because there was no one else. So the turnovers, in my opinion, weren't really all his fault.
Right. He's a decent length for someone his size at 6'1". He's a pretty good pickpocket type guy with a steal and almost 2 steals a game, 6.5 assists per game, and about 19. He shot about 38% from the 3. He's just, and I've seen a lot of guys have him after in their top 20 and for prospects. He's just a really solid player, and he's a guy I can definitely see as like one of those guys who are late draft picks who are all of a sudden really good players. And I just like the fit for a backup point guard. If you need to throw him at the 1 and put D'Angelo at the 2 for some stretches, I would like that. I mean, I just think that while drafting a backup point guard is kind of like it isn't that much of a need because a lot of players seem to be able to play the 1 now, but he just seems like just a super solid guy that he has a really high floor and a decently high ceiling, you know. But I think he's probably the guy that is most likely to be there, or most likely to be there, and most likely to like be picked of the 3 I said. I just think that getting him would be just having just getting another ball handler who can shoot and he can be a decent defender and just be another ball handler there. So yeah.
My only thing with that is I don't know how much of a drop there is from Juwan Evans to then from a guy like Frank Mason or something like that. I mean, maybe I'm just too low. I mean, if it was between having to take Juwan Evans at 28 and keeping Tyler Ennis, I would go with Juwan Evans over Tyler Ennis.
Yeah, obviously.
Probably. I mean, but then I get to dream of what would they use 28 on other than that. But all right, Nelson.
Oh, is it my turn, or are we gonna keep?
That was.
I mean, you could have said something.
I mean,
that's a lot of Diallo talk. So
yeah, exactly. So I don't want to insert myself in irrelevant talk. So my first guy that I love, because I think that you guys probably touched on the guys that I hate. I don't really necessarily hate anyone. I don't hate Bam. I just don't like him that much. I definitely wouldn't be throwing myself off a roof if we drafted him. But I like Justin Jackson a lot. From Maryland.
Yeah.
He's probably like one of the most intriguing prospects in this draft.
Yeah.
In my opinion, his wingspan is, and here's gonna come Clayton, gonna be like, oh yeah, look, Nelson's on team wingspan. And yes, I am Clayton. I am on team wingspan because this guy has.
I don't know. My only problem, real quick, is I don't know if he stays. He hasn't been put into the 2017 mock. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Is he in the combine?
So, yeah, he's at the combine. I'll check it again. Again, but yeah, go ahead, Nelson. I do like Justin Jackson from Maryland.
Yeah, he has I think last time I checked, like about a 7-inch advantage from his height to his wingspan.
He's 6'7.5" with 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah, that's just insane. And there's a lot that he can do with that. And he shot well at the beginning of the year. He sort of slumped a little bit in the second half of the year, so that's probably why a lot of
he shot 44.1% from three this year.
Yeah. But I think I remember reading that he slumped a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like I like him just because wings are so valuable, and the wingspan already gives him a lot of potential on defense. And from what I saw, he played pretty well defense. From what I saw from a couple of minutes I saw from the tournament, I really want to go deep into his film and find as much Maryland film and just watch him, just follow him around, see how he does. But yeah, I think he's a guy that could generate buzz at the combine just because of that length. And teams are certainly going to be looking at him if he plays the 5-on-5. I'm sure teams are going to be like, oh yeah, there's the guy that had that insane wingspan. Let's see how he plays, and if he shoots well, and if he
he will be at the combine, and he is playing 5-on-5.
There you go. So if they see him doing wing like things that you want from your wing, then I mean, I certainly see him. I certainly see him rising, and I think that that 20 to like 30 range is possible for him. I don't think he'll rise more than that, in my opinion.
That's about his range next year if he pulls out this year and declares next year. My only thing is when I've watched like what is featured most, because the channel that on YouTube that I used a ton previously got shut down. A lot of the stuff that he does mainly looks like a 4 to me, because like wing stuff that wasn't highlighted.
Yeah,
but I mean that could just be Maryland style play, I need to go back. I need to go and look. It was just something that I picked up one day, and I mean I still really like him because able to stretch the floor like that, and with a long wingspan, that means defensive potential, and just as long as his basketball IQ isn't stupid.
Yeah, I just like his skill set and his future set, and I think that he's a kind of flyer and kind of risky sort of risk pick that I'd be interested in taking, especially with wings being so valuable when trying to find wings, especially for the Lakers. I would be really fine taking that kind of a gamble. But yeah, I mean, like there's a good amount of 4s/5s, sort of like Jordan Bell, which is kind of I'm kind of on the fence on him. I think that he has shot.
You said on
Bell?
On Bell. Real quick. Yeah. Six side web or 6 side Seb again asks, what about Jordan Bell?
Yeah.
Good defensive power forward. That's what I see him as too, and Dwayne Bacon as at the 2.
Yeah, I think he's probably a better defender right now than Larry Nance, honestly. That's just from what I've seen. I just think that Larry's shown flashes of being really good, but of being good at least, but he hasn't really built off that. And Jordan Bell was ridiculous in the tournament, and I know that I won't take away too much in the tournament, but it was a game, and it's a much higher level pressure game, and he was just blocking anything that he saw. And you should be a little frightened that he kind of like just started to like pop up right now, but he's always been that kind of rim protector. I mean, he's not insanely long. He's mostly he uses his athleticism to get a lot of his blocks. So there's certainly some cause to pause on that, and he's not insanely built. So you question how well he'll be able to guard the post, and be able to be strong in the paint. But I just think that he's a guy that if you're not sold on Nance or Randall, and if he's still there at 28, that you could be like, oh yeah, like he's rim protects, which is what we need, and he rebounds, which is kind of what Larry Nance was supposed to do, but he kind of hasn't been that rim protector that I guess some people think he is or he will be. So yeah, that's kind of my thing on Bell. I guess I'm more in the like camp than in the not dislike camp. I think Clayton's more on the dislike camp, which I certainly see, and I certainly see why it'd be kind of like a meh pick, kind of be like, sort of like a Bam kind of selection. But I just see a little bit more upset just because he's shown more defensive prowess, and I feel a little bit better about his defense than I do about Bam's. After that, I mean, like I would still take a flight on Harry Giles. I know how scary the medicals can be, and I know how he could very well just end up like not playing basketball again. But I don't care. He is the kind of lottery ticket that you take it's kind of late in the first round. I mean, like if it pans out, then I mean, like you're looking at a really good player. And I mean, I know that he hasn't flashed enough lateral quickness to make you feel like, oh yeah, like it's just going to keep getting better. But I just think that hopefully bringing him into the NBA, a step up from the Duke doctors, just getting him to work on getting better. I think that might really help, and giving him time, not rushing him, not rushing like Duke did this year. I think like with the science around and everything, I just feel like he could get close enough to where like he could be a good player. Like he already showed his ability to be a really good rebounder, high motor player. But he wasn't so skilled. That kind of makes you worry about the pick, sort of like how much, man, at that point you're just relying on the athleticism. But I think that, if he can develop his skills, and just gets more of his athleticism back, I think you're looking at an average starter, maybe better, but I think at the very minimum, if you get that much out of Giles, then you're looking at an average starter, really good bench forward, which is probably a better forward certainly than Nance. And I think there's even been some talk. I think that it's serious talk about him being a 5 too, which I think that's feasible too.
He's listed as a 5 on.
Right.
I 100% believe that Giles is a 5.
Well, I mean that's probably even better because the Lakers need some 5s, especially.
I don't hate the idea of bringing in Giles because his talent is just really, really intriguing. It's just I'm so worried about those knees, man.
Yeah, no,
like
that's what I'm saying.
Do you risk the lottery ticket, or do you go with a guy that you think could be a role player for the next 10 years?
I mean, at that point, if there's no if the rest of the guys are just a bunch of meh prospects, and I don't see why not.
Yeah. I mean, like if all the guys that we like before him go, I don't have a problem with it. And I mean, even at 28, it's really not a bad thing. Or if the Lakers lose a pick and they get 33 and he somehow falls to 33, that's a good pick. I mean, I don't think he gets past Brooklyn, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
They've got two picks in the first. I don't see him getting past them, but that's just, it's really risky to me. And
yeah,
I don't know. If I'm going to take a lottery ticket and it's between if it's going to be between Giles and Diallo, because I think those are the two biggest lottery tickets in this range, because Harry Giles, former, legitimately he was the number 1 overall prospect. At the 5, or do you take the lottery ticket at the 2 that doesn't have the? And I would go with the wing personally, but I wouldn't hate it, but I would just be like, oh my word.
Yeah.
You'd be nervous,
I'd be very, 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 very nervous. I don't know anyone that wouldn't be nervous.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The reason why I don't think the Nets pass on him because they really don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
They don't have a ton of assets. They might as well go for the highest ceiling that you possibly can. I mean, they went for Levert last year, even though he had the broken foot and all the
awesome.
questions with him. And yeah, he was pretty solid. I mean, I don't know if I would go with awesome. I do love me some Karis LeVert.
Those highlights always got me excited.
Yeah. But yeah. So you had you got Giles, you got Bell, and then
Justin Jackson.
I'm sorry, Justin Jackson. I like that. Who are 3 guys that you would dislike?
Dislike at that range, I wouldn't mind Diallo, just because of the potential with the athleticism.
You would dislike him?
No, I wouldn't mind him. Yeah.
Oh no, I thought we were talking about this.
Oh no, I was just saying because I'm sure you guys were probably thinking, oh, he's probably gonna hate on Diallo.
I think the reason why, if there was any real Diallo hate from you, I think it's just because me and Merge talk about him.
That is exactly why I hate him.
So I think that if me and Merge didn't talk about him very much, I think he would be
all over him. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be
with
us.
So, I don't. When you joke about him, I don't really trip.
Yeah. I don't think I'd like Thomas Bryant in that range at all, in my opinion. I mean, I guess he shows enough in the workouts, and he's not playing on the 5-5, so that's disappointing.
I'm mad about that.
That is very disappointing.
He 100% could have jumped his stock if he.
I don't understand. I didn't Diallo decided to pull out of the 5-on-5. That made a lot of sense.
It did, yeah. Because if he might have just looked super inexperienced,
Yeah, but Bryant pulling out, his stock is falling, if anything. So he should him backing out of that is just what's the matter? I mean, I was the one that I kept bringing him up this week because the highlights by was it Gavoni?
Yeah, it was Gavoni. It was from the draft expression.
Yeah, so those were intriguing. The ability to move his feet quickly and just those quick little videos, that's interesting. But I mean, yeah, no, I get the dislike. I mean, after watching more of him later, I'll probably end up disliking him too. But it was just intriguing.
Oh yeah, I totally see the intrigue in the workout videos. I just didn't really buy him, and I just thought, I just really wouldn't like him in the first round pick, especially with all the talk about his defense, and the defense that I've seen hasn't been particularly good. But I don't think I like Jonathan Jean either in this range. I mean, I guess he's that kind of flyer that you would want or whatever. He's a towering, big. He weighs 210, which is intriguing. But I don't think I'd probably take him in the first round. I'm
actually on Jean now.
I'd be a little bit cautious with that kind of pick in the first round. I think in the second round, I think he'd be a really good flyer. But I would probably take a bit more some other kind of flyers / productive players in that range. And I mean, I guess my last guy would probably be Motley just because of the injury and because of how he didn't really show much of a expansive range. I mean, he switched not that well from what I saw. But he's an interior player that played mostly on the interior, and he kind of flashed some aspects of a shot, sort of. But then that kind of died down a little bit towards the end of the year. But yeah, really good college player. I just don't think I'd take a player with the injury and the not so high ceiling over more of a like a Diallo or a Tony Bradley or a Harry Giles.
Last one.
I gave 3.
That was the last one.
No. Gene. Yeah. I forgot. You kind of only quickly talked about Gene.
Yeah.
My bad. I'll go with the 3 that I dislike first. Bam Adebayo. Kind of pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. Which is just, it really is just so weird. If he had a 2 to 3 inch longer wingspan, or 2 to 2.5, and
yeah,
like I actually trusted that he was 6'10", then I would probably be like, yeah, man, that'd be a great pick.
Yeah, definitely.
But like he's not long enough to be like a full like I don't think he's a starting center, and like I already know that Tarek is good on D.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to get a guy that I think is an undersized 5, then why?
Yeah.
Another guy that I would not like. You brought up Motley. I'm very afraid of the knee as well. I don't think that's even remotely in consideration.
Yeah.
But yeah. Then the final guy I've seen. Man, I don't know. 28, because a lot of the guys that I'd just be like, man, I don't like that pick would be like a TJ Leaf, Tyler Lydon, or Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't like.
Yeah.
I see them all going higher than 28.
Yeah. That's why I didn't bring up Mitchell when I was talking about people I liked.
Yeah, because he's probably going to be
some people I don't like.
Yeah. A guy that I'd be worried that they would take high would be a guy like Jaron Blossom game.
Oh God.
He's so old. He's 23.6. He's going to be 24, I think, by the time the NBA season rolls around.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some skills. He's pretty athletic, but like distant, and like and he's just old. Like, like if this was a guy, I take that back because I don't. He's not really a guy. I don't think a guy like actually Dylan Brooks. I would hate that pick. I would freaking hate that pick. Because he's 6'7". They play him at the 3-4, but he's got a wingspan of 6'4.5". Like,
oh my God,
he's got 6 to 7 inches on Jawan Evans, but only half an inch. Like, I know people like him because he's pretty skilled and he showed some things at Oregon. Like he shot 40% from 3. Like that's fine if you're gonna pick where they have him at Draft Express at I think 45.
Yeah,
that's fine, I guess, at 45. But at 28,
yeah,
no.
I'd be very upset.
I mean, like I would rather take a injury risk like Edmund Sumner than Dylan Brooks.
I'd rather have freaking.
I think Sumner could be a really good defender.
Yeah.
I mean, like I would take a Josh Hart.
Yeah. I think
Hart goes a lot higher than what he's being projected. I would take a Wesley Owundu. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, I might even take a Dwayne Bacon above him. I don't really think Bacon is a great prospect. He's an old sophomore. Like if you did the same thing that, like if you went to a full senior, he would be older than Jaron Blossom game as a senior. He's decently athletic. He's decently long, but he's just not really. I don't know. He just doesn't kind of do it for me. Like, I mean, I think he could be a decent 7-8 man.
Yeah.
But like at 28, I think you're reaching by about 20 picks.
Yeah.
In that range. So, I don't really. I wouldn't really enjoy.
Yeah.
Guys that I would like.
I left someone just for you, so you can talk about him.
I'm blanking. I'm tired.
Your boy from UNC. Tony Bradley.
Tony Bradley.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'm looking right at him too on the thing. Yeah. Okay. So I had said I would have liked EK Anabogu, but going to be gone by pick 20. He just continues to rise. But Tony Bradley is in that mold that I like. He's pretty, isn't he? Yeah, he's pretty young, 19.3 years old, 6'10" with a 7'4" wingspan, so he's a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Good defender, potentially really good. At 30, right now he's at 34, so that's not much of a reach in my opinion.
No.
Pretty much a type of guy that I like. Then of course we already talked about Diallo. I don't want to put Nelson through that anymore. Then I'll go with a guy that neither of you guys talked with. I was gonna go with Josh Hart, but I think I prefer Wesley Owundu over Josh Hart a little bit.
I do too.
Is no one gonna talk about Thornwell? Is no one interested in Thornwell at this range?
I think that was a lot of hype during the tournament, but it never really caught on. I can't see him going first round.
Right.
Hart?
I mean, no, Thornwell. He was saying Thornwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's older than, not much, but he's older than Owundu and Monte Morris. His shot has been very questionable. I know that he shot, I believe, 39% from 3 this year. I'll check it again. Yeah, 39% from 3 this year. But Wesley Owundu and Josh Hart would be more intriguing. Owundu is like a point forward, but he's a 2, or he could be a potential second ball handler in my opinion. He's 6'7" with a almost 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
He played one quite a bit for Kansas State. Very, very interesting guy. His shot is hit or miss, but
he's improved a lot from his freshman year. He steadily got better.
Yeah, a guy that I think that people should look out for, not necessarily just the Lakers, but just because for some reason, is PJ Dozier from South Carolina as well, backcourt mate with Zendarius Thornwell.
I thought you were gonna say Derek White, but yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, if for Lakers, I think Derek White is a guy that I could definitely see. He's rising up boards. I don't even think he was ranked at.
Yeah, before the last update, he wasn't ranked at all.
Yeah, when it surprised me. Had a really productive senior year at Colorado. He's older than, or he's about the same age as Thornwell, I think.
Yeah.
But he's pretty freaky athletic, with a couple highlight dunks that were just really fun. Good scorer. I don't know how the defense is. I haven't been able to check that very much, but shot 40% from 3. 8% from the line. Wasn't a great rebounder, but I think at Colorado he had to play the 1-2 a lot, so wasn't able to do that a ton. That would be a guy I think that you could see rise up draft board. Someone wrote a piece about how he's the first rounder that no one knows about.
Let's put that article in the Slack.
Yeah. So you could see him rise. So
yeah,
teams are going to look for that Malcolm Brogdon now. That senior that they can just plug and play.
Yeah.
I think there's several potential guys like that this year. Owundu, Josh Hart, potentially Derek White. I have to look at the defense. I haven't been able to check that out as much as I want. I feel like I'm missing one guy too. Some people will say Dylan Brooks, but
I think
Brogdon has a 6'11" or 7-foot wingspan, so not a great one there. Maybe some people could see us in Darius Thornwell. up there. I'm not quite that
Mm-hmm.
high on him, but yeah. We had a couple Twitter questions real quick. So there was one from at Bullseye XT2. Okay, sure. What if we trade for Paul George and he's a bust his first year? Just want to flip it because everyone thinks Paul George is our savior. I think Merge kind of said he thought that was kind of like a Dwight Howard thing. Like he just kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if Lakers fans, like the general Lakers fan, if they did not make the playoffs after trading for Paul George, I bet you would hear a lot of calls about really dumb things about
this guy.
Paul George.
Trade Paul George. He's not worth it anymore. Type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is going to happen because I still don't think they make the playoffs with even if you don't get rid of D'Angelo and Ingram and they're still on the team and you get Paul George, I still don't see them making the playoffs just because Ingram and D'Angelo still have to grow.
I mean, like
maybe barely make it, but
it would in my opinion, it would be as the 8th seed
at the very highest.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. Nelson, did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, she certainly would probably disappoint just because, or at least in my mind, just because of how much we gave up. But I think I'd probably, after a day or two, I'd have to realize that, this is what it costs to get a freaking all-star. It's not cheap. And it's not like he's going to come in here and just sip on tequilas the whole time and not try. I'm sure he's going to try to get the team into the playoffs. He seems like a really fierce competitor. Like he calls out his teammates. He calls out for them for their bullshit. Like he wants to take a last shot. Like these are all good qualities to have. But I just think that, in my mind, he's probably never going to be able to live up to the value unless like Russell and Ingram or whatever or whatever the trade is. Like they just completely don't pan out at all. Then the Lakers come out looking like geniuses, but the chances of that happening, in my opinion, are slim. So like Paul George would certainly be viewed as a failure, as a bad move by the Lakers, as a win now, desperation move. Everyone wants the Lakers to make this move because apparently it makes sense for both teams. Because the only reason that this move would really happen would be Magic Johnson's desperation. I feel like Pelinka might be a little bit more open-minded to a future rebuild. But I think that it'd probably be Magic's willingness to and urgency to be like, we need to make the playoffs like right now. Like we need Padres like right now. We need someone to stabilize the franchise and sell those tickets, to put in front of the tickets, because apparently D'Angelo and Ingram isn't enough. I mean, the Lakers are still selling out stadiums. I mean, their brand name has not taken a hit. They're still.
It never.
No. I've seen that a lot.
There shouldn't be an urgency unless Genie's putting pressure on them.
Yeah, the whole thing. Well, Spectrum didn't pay all that money to pay for them to not make the playoffs. Like
I blame Spectrum.
Watch
that's when we started.
Spectrum. Yeah, Spectrum would not back out of that contract because Lakers would just get another contract like that,
and they could become good. Like
and I mean, like the Lakers are a year or two away, in my opinion,
from being like a playoff team. Yeah,
being a playoff team. Yeah.
I agree.
So I just Spectrum is going to want some of that, finally dividends from that. They're still I think the most watched team in LA.
I mean, how much money do you think they made from last year, from Kobe's year?
Yeah. Man, yeah, exactly.
And even the year when we had Dwight, that was one of Kobe's best years. Like that was the year Kobe absolutely took over.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't understand that argument.
Yeah.
Another question from at Jackie_C. If a player doesn't go to the NBA Combine or NBA Draft Combine and refuses to work out for your team, would you, as a GM, draft him?
So pretty much it would be like Cat, because Cat did that with the Lakers. Cat
Yeah.
didn't go to the combine, and then Cat said he didn't want to work out with the Lakers. There's no way you're passing on Cat.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like no chance in hell.
If this is like in the pick from like 10 to 20 range, like, yeah, you just find someone else you like.
Yeah.
You like on that same tier. Sometimes passing on a guy like that works out. Sacramento passed on Emmanuel Mudiay, who did not work out for them.
Yeah.
That worked out just fine for Sacramento not taking him. Willie Cauley-Stein has started to come along.
Yeah.
While Mudiay is looking like a player that needs to be
traded
for a change of scenery.
Yeah.
He's been very bad.
He has.
Which is sad because his story is awesome.
It's sad, but it's hilarious because people were saying Mudiay.
Yeah. At the summer league, everyone was like, Mudiay is so much better. Yeah.
What if no one won the Mudiay versus Russell? Was it Russell's debate? What if no one won?
What if no one won that, man?
Yeah.
I don't understand how anyone didn't win that. Like,
because Clayton, there are no winners.
You literally.
It's because D'Angelo is a snitch who doesn't care about his team, and he can't lead a team, and he has no ice in his veins.
Team was literally better when D'Angelo was
team
playing.
fell apart when he got hurt. I mean, let's be real. They might have been a borderline playoff team if that injury doesn't happen.
Started out 10-10, and then they had I believe a 1-12 December.
Without D'Angelo, pretty much all of it.
Yep. And Randall was out a few games, but did not. He obviously does not have the impact that D'Angelo has. So,
yep.
What if no one won? There was a team that won. You just don't want to acknowledge it.
Okay, yeah.
So,
hey man, they have Jokic, so it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, they definitely have the best player so far on either team.
Yeah.
So far, I agree. So far.
Yeah. You like how I put that there? I do love Jokic. Well, it's Jokic.
It's the Joker. I don't care.
Yeah, I do have to say, seeing Nurkic play better in Portland just makes me feel good because I had told Merge before the year that I thought that Nurkic kind of got the raw end of the deal with Jokic while he was hurt, but then he could not recover in Denver.
Yep.
I mean, I was obviously wrong in thinking that he was better, but I kind of like gave up on him, and then I felt kind of rectified. And when he started falling out with
he had that massive game where he like almost had like a 5x5.
Like almost 30 points and 20 rebounds. It was
like
pretty good.
6 blocks.
Yeah. He became what you wanted when you drafted him.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks because, I mean, they tried. Like, they started him and brought Jokic off the bench. They played him together. Like,
man.
I mean, they tried, but it just –
that would have been
I mean, that's just – Nurkic, I saw the preseason game last year between Denver and the Lakers at Staples Center. And Nurkic is huge. Like, he is just a very big person. Like, he's very big. Like, you don't want to meet him in an alley. Like, the dude is just really big.
I mean, who wins in a fight? Nurkic, Mozgov, or the Bear? Because, I mean...
Nurkic, it's fine.
Nurkic beats all three of them. Oh, I mean, both.
Yeah. I think that's it. Do you guys have any parting shots?
Jared Allen's afro is still really good. I will continue to mention that until he is drafted because there's still a tiny possibility that they might draft him in the top 3.
I do want to ask Nelson. I do want to ask if the Lakers were to somehow do my dream of trading 2 or 3 to Sacramento for 8 and 10, okay, Isaac, I would assume we would all have him at 8. Would would you want Allen over OG or someone else?
Clayton, don't play games with me. You're playing games with my mind.
I mean, because like you get I think OG, even though Jonathan Sharks put like a great piece of like how he could be a small ball 5, like I think he's the best perimeter defender in this entire class.
Yeah, I know.
Like he's so long. He's really athletic.
He's really behind on offense though. Like he's close to a 0 on offense, honestly.
But I mean, like Allen, other than a role guy, in my opinion, isn't great. Like I know the shot isn't bad.
I'm intrigued by that shot, honestly.
But I mean, like OG shot what 33% from 3 this year on increase.
Yeah,
and he was. I mean, like he didn't get to play very much last year, but it was. But I mean, he shot 31% this year.
Yeah.
But the free throw percentage is very concerning. But like the NBA, as we've said, is going more towards that small ball, and I. What are you doing?
I'm losing my stuff. All right.
Yeah. What kind of stuff?
But I think. I think I'd probably go OG. Even though I love that afro, man. That afro in the Lakers jersey.
There's just so much about OG that just screams Kawhi to me, and I know I shouldn't be thinking that because Kawhi completely turned it around. But
I mean, like if Jared Allen ever becomes like a really super good player, like him, like then D'Angelo and Jared Allen could call themselves the Fro and the Bro.
Seriously, how we joked of a starting lineup of D'Lo, like Kennard, or I mean, you could go stupid trust the process, go Diallo, then OG, Ingram, Isaac. Oh my freaking word!
The hair. I mean, the hair, man. It's wonderful.
I mean, if you're doing that, at least you would get Jonathan Isaac's due.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, like, what if Lakers could have like just like, I love D'Angelo, but what if they take out Russell out of that? Like, they trade Russell for Fultz, and then they just have like the like athlete, like
that's a little better too. No?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like the pick and like
that's just
they wouldn't lose. That's just
OG has like a mini. If you look at his picture on Draft Express, it's
not good enough, Clayton. It's not.
I mean, you haven't seen him in months. Maybe it's long now. Who knows?
I mean, honestly, I might take Jared Allen, just have the all hair team. Like we have Isaac's hair, and then right next to it we have Jared Allen's hair. I mean, come on, Clayton. That's like the team.
And Ingram does some things with the hair too.
So. But Russell needs to just buzz cut, just like nothing on it. Just like,
I think he needs to go back to the Ohio State, like the fade with the lines and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I know how much you like fade with well, you know that. I know what you like.
I mean, I would take Nerlens due over Jared Allen's due.
Oh please! You're drinking something.
No,
what are you drinking today, Clayton?
I mean,
God, no.
No, I'm
Jared Allen
totally.
would have the best hair in the NBA.
He had a freaking. Well, now you don't take Noel with his hair because it's like braided, I think he actually cut it now. But like his flat top, man, like.
No.
That screams.
This is a legitimate fro.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to me. It's wonderful.
This is a legitimate fro. All right, Clayton. I don't care about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I care about Jared Allen's hair. It's awesome. It's just awesome.
Well, then what about Josh Jackson's hair? Because he's got like it's not quite Jared Allen's fro, but it's
almost there, but I mean, like, it's just it's not as clean. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't flow the whole way. Like his does. Like there's some parts.
We really spent the last 3 minutes of this podcast talking about hair.
Hey, look! It's something to consider. You know, like if OG could somehow
we're gonna have more thumbs down because of this discussion.
Hold on, if OG could develop a fro. Easily top 5 prospect. Easily. I'm not even joking. You developed some nice hair, man. Like that's some serious stuff to me.
He just comes out with a Ben Wallace fro the next time.
Exactly.
be wonderful.
Like there's a smoke machine behind him. Like that's my guy. That's my guy.
Blowing in his hair.
Yeah, nothing would hype me up more. Just just locking down players with the throw. Like his afro could literally help him play defense.
Remember when Kawhi had a throw one game?
Oh,
that was incredible.
that was amazing. I was in love with Kawhi for a minute.
All right. All right. There's been some changes at Lakers Pulse. Don't want to get into that because there should be something going live hopefully in the next few days about that. But there's been also discussions of finally getting merch to write. So
please,
it's going to happen, or else we're going to have to stop the podcast.
Damn.
Me and Nelson are going to do quite a few collab pieces during the summer, so send your questions to Lakers Pulse. Merch, you don't have anything? You're just waiting on the next podcast already?
I'm waiting on the next podcast already, man.
Nelson, do you have anything?
I still have my 5,000 word Isaac article, which is now going to include in the strengths category the hair. That's
hair. Wonderful.
It definitely is it.
That will hopefully be read and edited within the next couple days.
Hopefully, and Clay will be editing that. So I
know. That's why it's going to take me a couple days to do it.
Yeah. This isn't your standard editorial here. This is me expressing my love for Jonathan Isaac in 5,000 words, roughly.
It'll be like some softcore porn stuff.
Whoa!
Like
time out.
Some fan fiction.
Oh yeah, this is 50 Shades of
It's just gonna be slow motion of Jonathan Isaac going up for a dunk with his wind just blowing in the hair.
That is what I fantasize about.
Oh, funny. Do you have anything else? I know that we're slowly leaking out the player profiles. Nelson, I know you've got Nawaba and you've got someone else. Who do you got?
I have Brandon Ingram. And I should be doing that pretty soon. Nawaba's probably going to be a little bit longer just because I have more to say on Nawaba than I do on Ingram.
Interesting.
Just because Ingram had kind of like a meh rookie year, like just judging by the season, there's not really much to take away. Obviously, his whole thing is potential based, and it's going to come in years to come. And this season, he had like a promising end to it, right? But I mean, in the beginning, it was kind of meh, so I mean, it's kind of not going to be that much. But I hope if we keep the pick, scouting reports on probably the top 6, in my opinion. Just in case Lakers go like Tatum, which we never know, right? It's just crazy. So we don't ever. They might take Tatum at 3, but for sure, Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, and whether you like it or not, there will be a Lonzo hit piece coming out soon. That will be out. Even if Lakers don't keep the pick, I want to prove all the people that are saying, the Lakers just got devastated because they didn't get Lonzo. So I will be going to work on that pretty soon. That's probably going to be my main focus, and Clayton will not yell at me for that because he approves.
I do approve.
There you go. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome. I have a piece this week. Should be a little less busy than last week was. I was planning on doing a top 5 of who the Lakers should take at 28. We spoke on it a little bit now, obviously, but I will be doing an article on that. I have some other things that I was supposed to write on, but I'm in a master's program, so I have all the excuses, and I have a full-time teaching position. So yes, I have all the excuses.
All the excuses.
All the excuses. And now more responsibility with Lakers Pulse. So I have all the excuses now.
Oh God! So if you thought crazy excuses were them before, baby, family, adult stuff. Nelson, you can't relate. Murd, you can't relate because I'm a big boy adult, and look at me, I'm wearing big boy pants. Like if you got tired of that, it's gonna be just more of that. Oh, look, I gotta go edit some articles. Nelson writes so much, and like. Yada yada yada, too busy watching like OG highlights and jacking off to them, whatever.
Oh man. All right. As F it. With that, I think we're gonna have to say goodnight. Say goodnight, Nelson.
Good night, Nelson.
Good night,
later, later, everyone. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Bye.
Jonathan Allen's afro. Or Jared Allen, God. Damn it.